Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with brown butter, pineapple, corn muffins. So there's a restaurant called Home right around the corner from my house in San Francisco, and they have the best cornbread ever. And I'm not sure exactly what's in it, but I'm pretty sure it's brown butter and some dried pineapple. And of course I could just ask them, but that's no fun. So I keep trying to figure it out myself, and this is one such attempt in muffin form. I'm going to start with a big handful of dried sweetened pineapple. They sell dried unsweetened pineapple, but you don't want that. This is basically going to be the sweetener for the entire muffin recipe. I'm going to mince that nice and small, so just about like that. So I have about 3/4 of a cup of that. I'm going to throw a stick of butter in a heavy saucepan on medium heat, and we are going to make brown butter, which is about the easiest recipe ever. As soon as it melts, and as soon as that foam starts to sort of bubble and cook, then you got to start paying attention. What we're looking for is a light, sort of hazelnut brown, a light brown. Not a black, not a dark brown, but not too light either. Something just about like that. Okay? A light, nutty brown. At that point, turn off the gas. Quickly throw in your dried pineapple. Give it a stir and just let the pineapple steep in that hot butter for about 20 minutes. So just set that aside and you can go on to measuring the dry ingredients. All right, so in a mixing bowl, I'm going to weigh out my flour. I'm going to also use some cornmeal, of course. So we have flour, we have cornmeal, we have salt, we have baking soda, and I'm going to give that a mix with the whisk. So just whisk it around there for about a minute and you will break up anything that needs breaking up. We're going to set the dry ingredients aside and move on back to the wet. All right, so we're going to transfer the butter and pineapple mixture that's now cooled down to just barely warm. We're going to put that in a mixing bowl. We're going to add our buttermilk and our eggs. All right, I'm going to take a whisk. I'm going to beat that together until completely smooth. It's only going to take about a minute. And then we're going to combine our wet ingredients with our dry, and it really doesn't matter, for this recipe at least, which you pour into which. I'm going to pour the wet into the dry, and I'm going to mix with a whisk until it's just combined. Don't be so paranoid about overmixing. Just don't keep mixing it once it's mixed. See right there, it's mixed? I stopped. Even though my arm was like, hey, give it a couple more turns. My brain was like, no, it's mixed. I'm going to line a 12 muffin pan with those paper muffin liners and or cupcake liners. Yes, they have little sports icons on them. Why? Because when we bought them, we thought they were flowers. I'm going to give it a nice spritz with the vegetable spray. Because that dried pineapple is so sweet and sticky, these do tend to stick a little bit to the liners. All right, I'm going to divide up my batter evenly between the 12 cups, and I just use a little sorbet scoop. Make sure they're all even at the end. That's going to go in a 375-degree oven for about 25 minutes or until a toothpick or bamboo skewer comes out clean from the center. See that? There's no dough on that. If there's dough on it, it's not done. Put it back in. When they're cool enough to handle, you can remove them from the pan and let them finish cooling on a rack. Always a good idea. And then they're ready to eat. That brown butter gives it this great nutty aroma and kind of a background flavor. The dry pineapple gives it a lot of sweetness, also gives it some beautiful texture. You'll also feel those little chewy bits in the muffin as you bite into it. Very cool. And then the muffin itself, a great all-purpose, perfect with chili, great with soup, fantastic with stew type cornbread. Has a nice moist grain. It'll break apart. It's very tender, yet it's not dry and crumbly. Like some cornbreads, you break it open and they like crumble in your fingers like dust, like a mummy in one of those old movies, right? You remember those? And actually, no, I couldn't think of a more obscure reference. So anyway, if you like cornbread and you like muffins, you will love these brown butter, pineapple, cornbread muffins. I hope you give it a try. All the ingredients are on the site, as usual. And as always, enjoy.